it should work now. I think it should work now. I think it should work now. Yep. Software. Connector encoder. Wait. Wait, so it's not live or what? I wanna see how. Yo. Alright, there. I think it's good. Alright, let's get it. No data. See, reset. I think I am on live though. Let's see. What's my name? Oh, it is live. Yeah. It's like a little background. Let's see. What's my name? Yeah, mine, it's like pretty much laggy or staticky. Alright. Alright, I don't want to hear my voice, bro. It's weird. Yo. Why is it like so bad?
I think that's it. I think that's gonna be it. I think that's it. I think that's gonna be it. Bruh. I frozen or what? So, um, I want to see. All right. Anyways, this camera. All right. I want to go over just the market pretty much, just for tomorrow. See what's gonna go on. So. All right. Anyway, so for MNQ, same thing for NQ. Let's actually go over NQ. The way that I'm gonna see the market, pretty much uh, happen overall for the remainder of the week. So if you can see right here, right, and I'm gonna just put it there and then take it off. This low right here is a weekly low, so we're in the weekly time frame. Pretty much, you're only gonna see one candle. So if I'm paying attention to it and I'm looking at this low, this is a weekly low. That's a weekly high. What did we do Well, first, let's see this gap right here. So this weekly gap, right? What do? We're inside of it. What do we expect? Obviously, like at price, right? It's going higher, right? We're gonna reach all-time high soon. I believe this is all-time high, if I'm not mistaken, because all-time high wasn't like too long ago. So this is where we might be heading, right? And just by looking at these candles, this is a 6 month, this is a weekly. We we all want to see this. We all want to see this high get, taken and starting trading higher. There's a lot of buyers in the market. It seems like the trend is just going really, really nice, right? This low has been swept, right? That weekly, and then we reacted, creating that imbalance on the fair value gap right here. So that weekly gap, it's important to me, at least, because we also swept previous week low, and the next target would be pretty much if we measure this candle, this whole body, just pretty much the body, right? If we look at that body, we got time to come up here, right, into this level at 774, right? What happens to every candle pretty much like before that? So the way I was seeing it is, let's start off from this side. So if we get the body, right, this body to that body high, and we look at the CE of it, what are we doing right here? Right, we're trading into it, reacting and going lower. Failed to take that high, which is a pretty much all-time highs, right? So now look at the next body, this one, right? And we're looking at right here. What did price do? Came back into the 50% of this body. So this body right here, we came 50%, rejected, headed lower, right? Where was our next target? Our next target was right here. So this weekly low has been taken, and then what's the next thing we do? We look at this wick, right? It tells you something that wicks do damage. So my idea was like retracing into every 50% of any level, such as a fair value gap, such as a candle body that looks good, that takes liquidity, or that creates that whole like it's very like what's it called, like dramatic. That this whole wick looks dramatic, right there to right there. Look what happens. 50%, tap it, come back down, right? What's up with this body? Look at this body. 50% taps, goes all the way down, taking out that low right there, right? What a coincidence. And that was my idea for this week. Just going over consequent encroachment of pretty much all these levels, right? We got this gap, we got this whole body, we got this wick, this dragonfly, all these candles, right? Look at where we're at in the weekly. So here, in this weekly, this is a weekly gap. Look at that. We reacted pretty nice to head up higher, but we did leave a gap right there. Never tapped, never came near it. Maybe about 100, 200 points. But this gap just does enough, Um, this whole leg, right? If we want to understand legs, we come in at least 50%. There's a lot of buyers here, so we can possibly head lower, but it's gonna take a while because we're inside of this whole range, right? This range, this gap, there's a lot of people, trading the market getting trapped. So there's a possibility we can stay there. I don't doubt it. I don't think we can. We could. I think we could get out of it, but it's gonna take some time. And time will tell. Time will always tell. Right. Let's go. I'm gonna really look at ES, but it's kind of doing the same thing. That is already at all-time highs from 2 weeks ago. So this is all-time highs, I believe. It's like a ES. About 6 months, yeah. So that ES has already set its all-time high pretty much 2 weeks ago, whereas we NQ set it like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks ago. So about 2 months. Um, somewhere around June, right? June was probably like one of the hardest months to trade. But if you had risk management, I think, you really came up. And that's where I got trapped because I did start losing in June. August got a little better, and that was pretty much 2 months. July I did a little bit off, but things that I was going through and all that stuff. But that's all right, man. We got to go through it. But this again, like I said, like ES is making its way down. So the probability of us going down to this low is quite high. Again, it's gonna take time because we have all-time highs as well. We got this 50% that can actually react, take out that week. So that's probably our next target. Our higher probability trades will be long, but it's not always going to be in your favor. So we just have to go through it. We just have to see it for the day and not predict it. Just react off what the market's telling you, pretty much. So that's the weekly time frame. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting at least 50%. Again, like we talked about, 50% of that body, right? And I can put an alert here. So I'll just put an alert. Once it reaches there, it could reject and then go lower, or it could just go higher from there. But I don't think it'll go higher. Maybe because of this fair value gap. But again, this is a level where we want to be careful, and this is the level where we want to be careful, right? Once we come and sweep this low, this is the next strong liquidity. So this right here would actually be the next strong liquidity. Why? But we first have to tap into this 50%. That's why I've been trying to be bullish all week. It makes sense. I think I did take some sells earlier this week. I think it was a Monday. If I'm not mistaken, it was probably a Monday. So if I look at, let's see. Oh man. Where am I picking the screenshots? So what day was Monday? We got the 24th. I took shorts. So I took these shorts right here. I think Monday was one of my biggest days. I did mess up on the order here. I did go in NQ, so that kind of messed me up. But I did, obviously come on in profit. That day I did make 700, so it was probably one of my best days. But I think it was just luck. Mondays we took short. This is Tuesday. Tuesday was actually a 25th, a long opportunity. So everything played out. We did hit New York. This was TP1. There was a candle right here that got made. A strong wick, took the high, went break even, and then I just put a limit order there just to sell one and then try to hold it to London highs, I believe. But we did end up just tapping into New York. New York high, I think it was a previous New York session high, and then reject from there. So, see, we rejected, missed my limit, and then obviously got stopped break even. So this was Tuesday. Today, 26th. We took longs as well. I think I got this one. Can I take a picture of that one before? I don't think I did, but I took a short. And I did get stopped out there. A lot of people got stopped out, and this is very, very common. Which there's no structure here. We are taking liquidity, but there's no structure. Usually just a lot of manipulation here. This was the second long. I think this one actually ended up hitting TP. So I took one off at that 1 hour gap. There was a 1 hour gap on that purple. And then price I think just decides to reject, stopping me out in profit, but that's all right. Made my money back. But yeah, those longs did actually play. So for that, let's go into alright, so actually I know where it's at. It's right here. So we took this high and we all expected this to work out. A lot of us, not just me. This short, right, we did reject. I took the flip. My stop loss was like, I think right here, give or take. Pretty much right above the IFEG. So this fair value gap ended up being an inverse. So that inverse right there stopped out. Right, immediate stop out. I think my stop loss was here. It was somewhere around here, right, where I lost 160. So it's probably that candle high. Yeah, I think I took it somewhere right here. Somewhere right there, my stop loss right above 150. Yep. And obviously the first take profit was these lows. That wasn't the best setup, but I tried shorting. I said, look, we have a 1 minute first presented for value gap. This was very, very tough to decide. I marked it as a 1 minute, right? But we did reject. I said, look, this is a premium. This is from this leg. This is discounted. We could buy there. You know, I bought, I believe it was right here. We did tap into it's either here or here. I forgot what I saw. But anyways, this was the trade. Oh, this one right here. So the reason why we entered was right here. So right, breaking this candle. So breaking that candle. Why do I hear myself, bro? So breaking that candle and then placing my stop loss, I believe it was at that wick. Yeah, at the wick low. Or at the beginning of the fair value gap. So it's this one. I believe so. Right, this is a 1 minute 216, right? Yeah, so it was that one. So I did go ahead and place my stop loss, thinking we shouldn't trade there. And then eventually we had highs stacked right above, which I should take a profit, you know, taking most of my cons at all these highs. Look at all those stacked highs, bro. Literally, I think I took one. No, I took one off at. I was trying to hold it. You know, the plan was to hold it. It was at this gap. So this 1 hour IFEG. You know, it was the only noticeable spot where I think it would trade back into. You know, these gaps, like they get used, but you don't want to use them. You just want to see if like a TP is there, a break-even point, etc. Right? That was my first target. I think I got stopped out break-even, and then I re-entered something like maybe this right here somewhere. Flip, I believe. Stop loss, right? Because this one was actually, yeah, this was actually the one that actually took that profit. I did get break even on the previous one, which was this one, right? Then compared to this one, that was the entry. Yep. Yep. Makes sense. I said here we tap into the FEG, respected this 1 minute, and eventually, you know, price did hit that 51 points. Damn. 50 points. Holy. Alright, 50 points. I made my money back and I was happy. So, trailed my stop. I think my stop stopped out right here. And that was it. Right there. So, tomorrow's a new day. We got a lot of stuff ahead of us. I think there's some news tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we'll go check it out. Today there was news. So we did go ahead and take those highs. So Thursday, unemployment claims and Jackson Hole Simpsonio. And that's it. Friday we got Fed Chairman. I might just take Friday off. And go from there. Oh, nobody joined. Fake. Yeah, chilling. Yo. Yeah, so I want to see how good does this mic work. You know, I don't know if it works fine or if it just glitches. I don't know. You tell me.